Welcome to Makers Masterclass, good people. Makers Masterclasses are designed to help you strengthen your skills in key areas of leadership. And over the next hour, we will embark on a journey that equips you with practical knowledge, actionable strategies, and a fresh perspective on how to set and achieve your goals. And we believe you will leave with a renewed sense of self and invaluable guidance to conquer any situations that may come your way. Enjoy! Shelmina Abji has one intention: help you achieve your career goals. As the CEO and founder of ShowYourWorth.ai, she aims to advance gender equality in leadership.
Women have shared experiences. It didn't matter whether I was speaking in the US or in India or in Nairobi, Kenya or in Brazil. There were women who were ambitious. They wanted to succeed, but they didn't know how. They were searching for a blueprint.
Her passion for mentoring started at IBM, where she was vice president. Abji has gone on to become an angel investor, advocate, and best-selling author.
The women to start owning their own power, to start asking what they deserve, and then also to make sure that they are building themselves up, getting the right competences, get the right confidence to earn these positions, and then to ask for it.
Please welcome Shelmina Abji to lead us on our masterclass journey on how to move from incremental to transformational success.
Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're coming from. And it is such a distinct privilege and an opportunity to speak to you today. I loved speaking at the Makers Conference last year, and when Tracy invited me to do a masterclass for you, I jumped at this opportunity. So thank you, everyone. As you heard, my purpose, my mission in life is singularly focused. I want to advance gender equality in leadership roles. I want to ensure that we women are present in every room where decisions are made. And that's not the case today. You can look up the numbers yourself. And one of the reasons this happens is because we inadvertently settle for incremental success. And what I'm going to teach you today is how to move from incremental success to transformational success. I'm going to share a personal story first, and then I'm going to share some key takeaways that you can start implementing immediately to start moving away from achieving incremental success to transformational success. So first, let me define these two terms in my personal story. As someone who started with humble beginnings in Tanzania, first generation college graduate, came to the United States as a student, and had the good fortune of being hired by a technology startup company here, which eventually folded. But by then I had my visas to stay here, and then I joined IBM. I, as an immigrant, as someone who had to ensure early on in my career that I became difficult to replace, I showed up to work every single day. I poured my heart and soul into what I was required to do, and I made sure that everything I was required to do got done. I was inadvertently settling for incremental success because I was doing what was expected of me. Mind you, for me, my incremental success with my frame of mind and where I came from, I felt extremely successful when I could rent a one-bedroom apartment and own my own furniture. And it so happened that I won a leadership award when I was a systems engineer at IBM. I was invited to a women's roundtable where all the high achieving women were sitting around the table. We had our senior executive from IBM, Susan Whitney, who just commanded respect. She was so gracious. She was so good, such an incredible leader. I am sitting there watching her in awe. At the end of that roundtable, I was supposed to walk her to my boss's office. And on the way, just as someone would ask you your restaurant preference, Susan asked me, Shelmina, where do you want to be in 5 years? I looked at her with a glazed look in my eye, And I said, I don't know, because I didn't know. And she responded back with something that changed my career trajectory. She said, she was just listening, right? So first I said, I don't know. And then I said, I get so focused on doing the best possible job in my current role that I don't really think about 5 years from now. And she said, Shelmina, it is critical that you do your best possible job in your current role. And it is equally critical to know where you want to go next and next. You have so much potential. And I looked at her and I'm thinking, wow, if she thinks I have potential, I must have potential. But what does that mean? Where do I want to be in 5 years? Because when I looked around, there was no one that looked like me, that spoke like me in any roles that I could aspire. And so, this thing about you can't be it until you see it. Well, guess what? You don't have to wait for that, because I didn't have the luxury to wait for that. I had to become the change I wanted to see. From that day onward, I started wondering, what does it mean? Where do I want to go? What does potential mean? And slowly but surely, I started defining what my 5 year vision of success was. And even at that time, I wasn't really defining success that made me move from incremental to transformation success. But I started that journey. That journey led me to become a first line sales leader at IBM. And it was really after I became a first line sales leader and I sat in meetings where promotions were being discussed. I was on both sides of the table. I understood what it really takes to achieve transformational success. It's not just doing what is expected of you. That's incremental success. If you do what's expected of you, like I did, I was getting my yearly bonus and I was being rated high, and you get your salary increase and you get your stock options, but that's not transformational success. Transformational success is when you show up to work and you are being challenged. You are being pushed to the edge of your competencies. You are taking on assignments that scare you, assignments that you don't even know you can do. And then you seek the right help to make it happen. That's when you accelerate your success and you start achieving transformational success. So the first thing you do when you define your success is you aim high. You take a chance on yourself, because here's the thing. The world takes you at your own estimate. If you don't aim high, if you don't take a chance on yourself, if you don't raise your hand to do the jobs that scare you, then no one's going to take a chance on you. And you can't wait for someone else to come and pat you on your shoulder and say, you did a great job, let me promote you. You are going to have to ask for all this. And I'm going to teach you how to earn it and ask for it. So the very first thing I ask you to do is aim high. Define your 5-year vision of success by stepping outside your comfort zone, by doing things that you don't even think you're capable of doing. And I ask you, the way you define it is 5 years from today. If you achieved something that would make you jump up and down, that would make you feel proud of yourself, that would make you look back and say, I can't believe I did that, then you have defined success by aiming high. You also want to make sure it's aligned with your values, because if it's not aligned with your values, it's going to start ringing hollow. You want to achieve success on your own terms. You define your success, you aim high, and then the next thing you do is you create your personal success plan. Next slide, please. Your personal success plan is a plan that enables you to achieve your success day in and day out, week after week after week. Because ladies, success doesn't happen one fine day. It happens in your everyday actions. It happens in your everyday decisions. It happens in the way you show up to work every single day. And the way you do this success plan is you define what success means to you 5 years from today. You then unpack that and define what you have to achieve in the next 12 to 18 months that becomes a stepping stone towards your 5 year vision of success. So you're always working towards what's next and next. And then as a result of that, you create your highest and most strategic priorities. You see, women, we are amazing at being intentional. What we don't always do is be strategic. And here's the thing, no company ever realizes its maximum potential without having a strategy. In the same way, no human being realizes their maximum potential without having a strategy. And your strategy is what you are going to execute with intention. So it's about being strategic and intentional. And once you have your strategy, you define what are your most strategic priorities that you need to execute upon that will enable you to get to your vision of success. And once you have defined those, you structure your days around your highest priorities. Ladies, this is not a competition between bad and good. None of us, especially if you are part of Makers Women, you are already successful. So the competition here is between good and great. Understanding that we all get 24 hours in a day. And the biggest decision we make is what deserves our attention. You see, energy flows where attention goes. And your most valued assets, they're perishable. If you don't use it, you lose it. Your most valued assets are your time and your energy. I use the word attention instead of time these days because we might give a project time, but we are on our cell phone, watching whatever, reading our email. We're not giving it our full attention. We're not present 100%. So we must learn to be present 100% and structure our days around our highest priorities. Set boundaries. Learn how to say no in a kind and firm way to things that are your lesser priorities. Because every time you say no to your lesser priority, you are giving your time and attention to your highest and most strategic priorities. This is how you achieve transformational success instead of incremental success. Incremental success, you react to what's coming your way. Transformational success is you determine what deserves your attention. And every ounce of your energy, every moment of your time should be used towards moving towards your definition of success. Not driven by anyone else. You are driven by your strategic and highest priorities. So that's the first thing you do. Next slide, please. The second thing you do is you build relationships and a leadership brand. So you see, when you structure your days around your highest and most strategic priorities, you are going to maximize the value that you create towards your success, which should be aligned with your boss's success, which should be aligned with the success of your organization. So every day you are showing up to work and focusing on your highest and most strategic priorities. However, if you want to take your success farther, you have to build intentionally and strategically, build the relationships that will support your transformational success. And these are relationships with your peers, with your mentors, with your boss, with your sponsors. Your sponsors, especially when you are getting ready for an executive level position. Your sponsors are the people who will put their credibility on the line and say, you can do this, because no one's done the job. The fact that you are on the slate, that means you already have a successful track record. That means you have built the relationships that got you to where you are. But now, to go from where you are into executive level roles, you will need to build sponsorships. You will need to earn sponsors. And your sponsors are not going to put their credibility on the line because they like you. Your sponsors are going to put their credibility on the line because they have watched you. They have watched you not just during the times when everything is great, because it's very easy to lead when everything is great. It's more important to show your leadership attributes and to raise your hand when the times are tough, when the economy is chaotic, when there are layoffs happening, when things are not going the way they were expected. How do you show up? Do you show up to complain? They will not vouch for you. Or do you show up to solve the problems? Do you show up to move forward? Do you show up to pour energy into your team? Do you show up to motivate your team to keep moving forward no matter what, to try to do things that you've never done before? And when you do that and they watch you, that gives them the confidence and trust to say, I trust her to do the job. They become your sponsor. So sponsorships have to be earned. Frankly, every relationship has to be earned. And in my book, I have a chapter called Intentional Relationships, where I teach you how to build these relationships with your boss, with your peers, with your mentors, because those relationships are critical for you to move ahead. And then the leadership brand. How are you showing up? I am teaching you how to intentionally build a leadership brand and show up as a leader who is admired, who is respected. And the last thing I'm going to teach you is learn how to overcome the fear of failure. I have a TEDx talk where I teach you how to overcome fear. I, as a young career person, used to be afraid of speaking up. And I used to give all my power away to my voice of fear that would ring loud in my head and compare myself with everyone else and tell me not to speak up, until I also learned that there's a voice of courage in my own head and I can govern these voices. And when you know your definition of success, you can feed that to your voice of courage as ammunition to overcome any kind of internal barriers, such as fear, or external barriers where people will undermine you or they will interrupt you in a meeting. I teach you to use what I call your power quotient. Your power quotient is your ability to pick an empowering response to a disempowering stimulus. You see, when the things are going great, it's very easy to do excellent stuff. But it's when the stimulus is disempowering, whether it is your internal stimulus or an external stimulus, like the economy or someone interrupting you or someone judging you or someone, boxing you in a negative stereotype. You have a choice. You give your power away to them, or you take your own power and you show your worth and you keep moving towards your definition of success. That is how powerful we are. And that is what it takes for you to achieve transformational success. So when you take on these projects that scare you, you take on these assignments that are scary, it is obvious that you will be scared. You should expect that, but you should also know that you're not alone in this journey. You should know that you can reach out to your mentors, to your sponsors, to your tribe, and get the help needed. Because here's the thing. Your value, your worth towards the success of your organization is dependent upon your competencies and your confidence. And so your goal is to continue to increase your competence and your confidence. If you keep taking the jobs that you know you can do well, or you can 80% of it, and you will build a little more competence, that's incremental success. But if you take on a job where you only have 20% of the competencies, and the job will teach you 80% more competencies, at the end of that job, it does not matter what the outcome was, you have succeeded. Because the definition of success should be the growth that you experienced and the competencies and the confidence that you grew. And I ask you to look back and to reflect upon how scared you were, and also to reflect upon the competencies that you learned while taking on these challenging roles. That builds this deep seated confidence where you know that you can take on roles that scare you. And when you have that deep seated confidence, ladies, you walk into the room with that energy. You don't even have to say anything, but your energy will exude competence, confidence. Your energy will exude that I am here to take a chance on myself and to make our organization exponentially successful. That's how you achieve transformational success. So, right away, what are you going to do? Let's talk about that. The first thing is you're going to take a chance. Take a chance on yourself, and you're going to aim high. Start where you are. You see, your career is a long game, and you should be focused on your 5-year vision of success. The short-term setbacks, they become a blip in your radar screen. People will forget in few months what setbacks you had. But you, in the process, if you aim high, you will build the competence, you will build the confidence that you need in order to achieve transformational success. And so I ask you to first and foremost define success, aim high. The second one is show up to work every single day. Every single day. Be strategic and intentional. You're never on autopilot. You don't react to what comes your way. People and situations don't define you. Your response does. So it doesn't matter what comes your way. You are there to be strategic and intentional about moving closer to your definition of success every single day. You are never, never, never on autopilot. You are there to show your worth in all your interactions, whether the interactions are positive in a great environment or the interactions are not positive, but your response is still strategic and intentional. So you keep moving towards your transformational success. So your goal is to show your worth every single day in all your interactions. And do an audit of your calendar. Look back at the end of every week. Look at the mistakes you make. Don't beat yourself up for it. No one beats themselves up to greatness. You want to just look at the mistakes you made so you can course correct and rectify. That's it. And then quickly, you want to move towards celebrating the wins that you had last week. You see, when you celebrate wins, it infuses you with not just a success mindset, but with energy to pursue your definition of success week after week after week. Unfortunately, what most of us are wired to do is we're wired to beat ourselves up, and that depletes us of our energy. That burns ourselves out. Instead, I want you to completely rewire yourself. Look at the mistakes you made, learn from it, course correct, don't dwell on it. Instead, focus and amplify the wins you've had. And then what happens is you will get more and more wins. You will start moving towards your transformational success. And then success is in your DNA. Your worth is in your DNA. You start showing up to show your worth without even thinking about it. So that's the second thing I want you to do. And then the last thing I want you to do is embrace AI. Today, we are entering the age of AI. We have entered it, but we are still in its infancy. A lot of women today are looking at the negatives of AI. And granted, there are negatives. Any trend will have positives and negatives. However, if you don't embrace the trend, you will get left behind. And so, what I'm asking you to do is yes, there are issues with AI, but you cannot let those issues overpower you. You have to focus on using AI to help you show your worth and help you achieve transformational success instead of incremental success. I have built an AI platform for you centered around my best selling book, Show Your Worth. The AI platform is called ShowYourWorth.ai. This is your career co pilot. You can ask me any question anytime if you're facing a challenge or if you're facing an opportunity, whatever it is that you need help with. The Show Your Worth that AI will also help you draft emails so you can negotiate your salary. It is your co-pilot. It's sitting there with you 24/7, turning every tailwind into a headwind that moves you closer and closer to your transformational success. It also helps you navigate the tailwind. Sorry, it moves the headwinds into your tailwinds, so you're moving forward. It also helps you take advantage of the tailwinds, so you leverage the opportunity, you seize the moment to keep moving closer towards your transformational success. So now I will take a couple of questions. We have 10 more minutes. All right. So there's a question from the audience. What values have shown up most for you during challenging times on your leadership journey? I love this question. You know, when I define my success, and this is what I teach you in the first chapter of my book, is our success is never just about our professional success. It's also about our personal success. No matter how much you love your career, we are career women, mothers, daughters, friends, caregivers, volunteers. All this adds meaning to our life. All this makes our life fulfilling and rewarding. So it's not just about the externally visible success, it's also about the internal fulfillment. And those are aligned with your values of integrity, values of giving back, values of making a difference. Every time I was challenged in my leadership journey, I knew that my actions, the way I showed up, was not only impacting my success, but it was impacting the success of everyone that looked like me, that would walk into a room or that would interact with the people that are watching me. So for us women, it is critical that we not just achieve success for ourselves, but we also become a role model and an inspiration for the women who are watching you. And you don't even know who is watching you. People on your team are watching you. People in your community are watching you. There are all these people for whom you could be the change agent. You could be the Susan Whitney that asked me the question, where do you want to be in 5 years? And that is my intention, is to make all of you successful. So together we can ensure that we are accelerating our ascent into leadership roles. So we are in every room where decisions are made. So the value of being a role model really kept me going when things got very challenging. This is when I used my power quotient and I said, the situation can't define me. My response defines me. How I show up is what will make a difference. The situation will go away tomorrow. Everything changes. But who you are at your core should never change. So when you define your success, you want to ensure that you have your professional goals in there, but also your personal goals. You know, women, when I first started, my only goal in life was to lift my family out of poverty. And that, no matter what came my way, I was able to overcome it because I wanted to make sure that my mom would not have to cook for people and sell food on the street. That was so personal to me. It was so part of everything I did. So when you define your success, that becomes your compass. It will get you through any challenges. I hope I answered that question to your satisfaction. I'm going to move to the next section, to the next question. How do you stay motivated after setbacks? So first of all, I want you to internalize this. Every challenge in your life, every setback in your life is custom made for you so you can get better. So the first thing you do is you shift your mindset. Whenever there is a setback, do not look at it as a setback, because your actions, your reactions, your decisions are going to be based on how you view the situation. So when you have a setback, do not look at it as a setback. In fact, look at it as an opportunity for growth. And if you look at every setback as an opportunity for you to learn from that setback and to grow. I often tell people our job is not to overcome challenges or to overcome setbacks. If you want to achieve transformational success, you need to leverage your setbacks as an opportunity to propel you forward. Why? Because you will learn something from that setback. And so whenever there is a challenge, an opportunity, a setback, initial response will be fight or flight, right? That's the human response. But neither one of those responses are good for you. You want to actually take a deep breath and consider that setback as an disempowering stimulus. Scan your mental chatter, which will be telling you to fight or flight, and say, no, I am going to use this setback as an opportunity to propel me forward. I am going to learn something from this setback, and I'm going to grow from this setback because I know where I'm going, and this setback has no power over me unless I give it to them. And so you want to make sure that the way you view your setbacks, expect setbacks. Setbacks happen to every one of us. In fact, I'll go one step forward. If you are not experiencing setbacks, you are not achieving transformational success. You are not pushing yourself high enough. You're not aiming high enough. When you aim high and you step outside your comfort zone, you should expect setbacks, but you should also use and leverage those setbacks as an opportunity to grow and to propel you forward, not just to overcome. Okay? I hope I answered that. I am so passionate about not letting anything stop you. Anything that gets in your way is an opportunity for you to learn and to grow. Okay, so now I have another question. Shelmina, I fully agree on taking on challenges to learn and grow. I am pivoting careers and I'm struggling to show my worth when applying to jobs that don't align with my experience. How can I show I am ready to take on new challenges if companies look at how my experience align with the job description? Such a great question. Thank you to whoever asked this question. You know, unfortunately, most women will apply to a job until they 100% feel they can do the job. And I applaud you for applying for a job for which you have some competences, but you don't have complete experience. And this is how you do it. First and foremost, you have to be able to articulate the value that you can create for that job based on your past experiences. Use my AI. It will help you articulate your value. It is very, 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 very important that you are able to articulate the value you're going to create for the job based on your skills and the competencies that you learned from your previous jobs. But I also want you to articulate an example of when you took on a role for which you did not have the competencies and you figured it out. I want you to be able to articulate that. Just like in your current organization, by doing that, you earn sponsorship. For new jobs, by articulating that, you show them that you have the capacity to take on challenges and figure it out. to have that energy, to have that confidence that I can figure things out, and then to be able to articulate examples of when you took a job that completely pushed you towards the edge of your competencies, that completely required you to learn new competencies, and how you figured it out. Show them the how. In my book, in the chapter of intentional growth, I give you an example of when I took on a role that I thought was the biggest mistake I made because it was completely outside my competence zone, and how that job enabled me to build the most competencies and the most confidence. After that job, there was no job that I didn't feel I couldn't do because I figured that out. And then I was able to articulate how I figured it out for all the next jobs that I took. Do we have, I'll take one last question. We're almost out of time. Okay. What is your approach to identifying a good sponsor? And do you have any tips for starting that conversation? Absolutely. I'll give you a Reader's Digest version. I already spoke about sponsorship. And what you want to do, again, be strategic and intentional. You want to look for someone in your organization that is at least 2 levels above where you are. And you want to look for opportunities to be in a room with them, to make sure that they get frontline view to your competence. And the way you do that is by taking on a really complex assignment, by taking on something that is going to unlock tremendous value for your organization, and then asking them for help. So here's the thing, ladies, you don't want to ask for something that's simple to do, because then you're going to create a brand that you can't figure out simple things. You want to ask for help when you are pushed towards the edge of your competence. You first want to go to your mentors, you want to go to your boss, you want to get help wherever you can. And then, because the problem is so sticky and so complex, go to the person you want as your sponsor. Talk to them about the challenges you're facing. Ask them, I'm in this situation. I have watched you. I have so much respect and admiration for the way you handle this. Like, be very specific. I am in a situation. Can you give me 15 minutes of your time? So you want to make sure, and don't ask them to be your sponsor right away. It's not going to happen. Remember, these sponsors are very, very busy. You have to earn it. So you start out with, can I get 15 minutes of your time? And you get some guidance, some advice from them. And then you impress the hell out of them. So you take their guidance and you go do such a great job. And then when that job is done, you give them credit for it. You let them know that the guidance they gave you is the reason why you were able to do this. And you do that multiple times, and they see you in different situations, and definitely find a time when things are not going great. And you must show them what you're capable of when things are not going great. Because as a sponsor, they have to watch you do things over the years. You don't earn sponsorship. It's not one and done. They have to watch you in different situations. And when they have done that, you will see your relationship with them change. And that's when you apply for executive roles. You tell them, I'm applying for this role, and I would really appreciate it if you could vouch for me. It's not easy, but it's something you must become very strategic and intentional about doing. There has been a study that the reason why women don't rise into executive level roles and senior executive level roles is because they don't have sponsors. They're capable. Their name is on the slate, and yet they don't get picked because no one sitting around the table is putting their credibility on the line. So thank you for asking that question. Anyone who is listening, that's what you want to do. You want to start thinking about who your potential sponsors are going to be. And they will be your sponsors 5 years down the road, 2 years down the road. It doesn't matter, but you have to earn it. So we are out of time right now. I appreciate you investing your precious time and energy to listen to me. I hope that today you are going to start thinking about and defining success by aiming high, by making sure it's aligned with your values. Today, you're going to start structuring your days around your highest priorities. Today, you're going to start thinking about, how do I want to be known? Build intentionally a leadership brand. Today, you're going to start building the relationships that will support your transformational success. It's not just about doing what's expected of you, it's about going above and beyond what's expected of you. That's how you move from incremental to transformational success. And ladies, when you do that, make sure you take others with you, because together we will achieve gender equality in leadership roles. Thank you for your time and your attention.